It's Saturday morning. It's 9 o'clock. Ooh, yes. It's time for the Monster Magic Saturday show. Let's do this.
Wake up, it's a beautiful morning. Feel the sun shining for your eyes.
Woo-hoo. Hello. Good morning, everybody. I hope you've been enjoying the Olympics. I have discovered something very, very interesting in the fact that Team GB do not have an entrant in the Greco-Roman wrestling. So that means in 4 years' time, watch this space. Not saying anything, might need to lose a bit of timber to come down a couple of weight classes because currently my middleweight, they're pretty big. Even if they are wearing leotards, I find them very scary. But enough about that. Let's get on with some magic reviews. And first up, we have Squidz by Goodman. I do actually know Sean. Sean is very much an acquaintance of mine, and he showed me a few trailers of this and a few initial ideas he had with this. But I do really like it. But do bear in mind that I know Sean and I like him when I'm reviewing this. It's very hard to be completely independent, but Sean is a real worker. He's a professional magician, and he uses this a lot, and that's why he's got, if you go on his website or you go on to Monster Magic, and you see there are plenty of trailers of him doing this live, getting genuine reactions at weddings and in proper walk around events. He's not one of those, he's not a magic creator as such. He's a professional magician who creates tricks for him to perform, and when they're finally when he thinks he's got something that's real gold, he releases it. As you might notice by the name Squids, it's loosely based on the Squid Game, the old Netflix series that came out a few years ago. I didn't watch it. I got an idea of what it's about, but I didn't watch it at all. Just couldn't get into it. But anyway, it is a draw. It is a hook. If your participants have watched Squid Game, then you've got a nice little presentation, but it's not necessary by any means. It's very similar to sort of ESP trick, regardless of the Squid Game symbols. In the core routine, you take out a little red cloth bag from which you remove 6 cards. 5 of them have symbols on, and 1 of them describes what the symbols mean and what their colours mean. You can give someone the red bag to hold. In the meantime, someone chooses 1 of the 5 cards. That then gets mixed back up into the packet. But you are able to divine which card they have chosen. You are then able to show an indifferent card, which you put in the palm of their hands. You click your fingers, and that changes into their selected card. And then you then go back to the red velvet bag. And from that, you pull out a wooden chip that matches the symbol that they freely chose. It's a corker of a routine that's easy to do and packs 3 very good hits. I'll show you what you get. Let me show you what you get first. Well, I can't show you everything that you get, can I? But let me show you. So this is the bag. These are the cards. They're very nicely printed. Really good card stock. Very clear. And obviously it's a sort of, you can tell how it's sort of influenced a little bit by the ESP cards. You've got the star and the square, but the umbrella is obviously in relation to Squid Game. And these are the backs. Now the backs are very, very subtly marked. This is the card that describes the symbols and their colours. And this simply helps you in ways of sort of say, like, oh, I think you would have chosen the triangle because it's a symbol of power and leadership, and I get that from you. Or you can go for the yellow, which is obviously that you're an optimistic person. So it just helps you give a sort of reading as to why they might have chosen what card they have chosen. And then you also get the chips. These here are the chips. They're made from wood, and they've had the symbols etched on them. They're really nice. I mean, they're nice. They do exactly what you need, and they're a good size because you do have to carry around 5 of them. This does take up a pocket, I'll tell you that now. But I think it's probably worth it because you get some other routine ideas as well. So you don't have to do the same trick with it at every table if you're doing it professionally, or if you're doing it as a hobbyist, you've got a couple of other routines as well, so your family don't get too bored. There's no forcing involved, so they can choose any card that they like. They can choose any symbol that they like, so it can be completely different every time. The core routine does use a couple of basic card sleights. Sean teaches them. He also teaches variations, so some I would say are not approaching intermediate. They're all easy, I suppose, but some moves are just easier than others. But you know, a little bit of practice, but you probably already know them. You're probably well capable of doing them already, to be honest. But Sean teaches them very nice and very clearly. He also explains the markings on the cards really well, and different ways of getting a sneaky peek at the markings that you need to. It's a nice 3-phase routine. You can go down the Squid Game route as much as you like. Personally, I would just be going for the old sort of pseudo-influencing personality reading using these cards. It's easy to do and really does pack a punch, especially pulling out the chip from the bag at the end that's been in their possession the entire time. Sean doesn't rest there, however. He then teaches a couple of other routines. There's an ESP matching routine, which is a sort of mixture of card handling subtleties and the one ahead principle. You've probably seen it before. If you do any sort of card ESP matching, you've probably seen the idea before. And then he teaches a trick called Life and Death, which is a version of Will the Cards Match by Larry Becker, which I believe Larry Becker first published in Apocalypse in 1989, and then republished as a match game, I think he called it, in his book Stunners in 1992. What I do know about that is I read something about the fact that Larry Becker was the only person who seemed to constantly mess the trick up, even though it is pretty much self-working. It is really nice. That trick, Will the Cards Match, has been done by a lot of people, including my favourite, David Regal, who did a great one called Will the Socks Match. It's a nice little routine. Calling Life and Death obviously adds a bit of an element and draws on the Squid Game. It's easy to do, and you can draw in a couple of more participants as well. And finally, Sean has tied it in to a couple of apps as well, the Tap app and Greg Rostrami's Inject, neither of which I've got, so I can't tell you too much about those routines, apart from they use either your phone or the spectator's phone if you're using Inject, and it is a very clean way of having predictions revealed. I know that Sean has put a lot of thought and a lot of care into this, and I think you end up with some really nice, interesting props, a great 3-phase routine, and a really good tutorial that teaches you absolutely everything you need to know, and some variations if you want to try out different ideas. That is Squids 28.99. Next up, we've got the Comedy Salt Shaker by TCC. I don't have to tell you, this has been amusing me for the last couple of days. The Comedy Salt Shaker is a classic. It's been around for a very long time. I haven't researched it, I don't know, but certainly since I started in Magic. They were usually quite cheap. You've got them in joke shops and so on. I know Premium Magic have one out that I've also got in stock. And that Premium Magic one is absolutely fine. It does work. It does get the laughs. And it's slightly smaller than these, which might be useful to know. But what you get in here as an extra bonus is, because it's about £10 just for the cheapest one. Here you get, hang on, if I get them out of the box. I don't want to show you the instruction link. So you get the empty one, which you can fill up with salt or sugar or any crystals that you like. It's up to you. Yeah, that's really nice. I mean, you can see that they're sort of like the classic ones. They remind me a little bit of being at my grand's or a Greasy Spoon cafe, but they are nice. So that's a good way. So it's good that you get this one. So this one is genuine, doesn't do no tricks, nothing else, just absolutely matches the comedy one. So you can swap it in and out as you wish. So you can have a bit of fun with that. And here is, there you go. So you can see that they completely match, and that is, it's really, really well made. Ridiculously well made for a comedy prop, I suppose is probably what I would say, but I really, really do appreciate it. And it's the sound and the volume that they've got just right. I mean, it's great. Oh gosh, you know, I'm just tempted to stick this on a table in a restaurant now and just have people use it. It does actually come with a pretty good tutorial for a 3-ball routine, the classic 2 in the hand, 1 in the pocket, 3-ball routine using the comedy salt shaker. That's really, really well taught. You don't get the balls with the set, but you can use any balls you want. Chop cut balls, crochet balls, any sort of, you know, bouncing rubber balls that you want. There's really something about 3/4 of an inch probably be ideal for the trick, or you can just use it with sponge balls. You can do it with your hopping halves. You can do it with card tricks. You can just, you know, do a simple double lift and sprinkle the card and have it change. So versatile, so much fun. Love the idea of swapping in the genuine one, so that doesn't make a noise and this one does. 3-ball routine and tutorial is an incredible bonus, and really does add some value, and is well worth learning. All in all, I think it's a quality comedy item that could have been made just for me. That is the Comedy Salt Shaker by TCC, $25.99. Now it's the turn of Memory by Balala, Zheng and Billy Yeung. This I saw, Henry Harrius has been recommending it. It is a really, really charming trick that is completely different to anything I've ever seen before. It's based on a principle that I think Billy Yeung has come up with, that I think is going to be used in a lot of other ideas. It's probably popular in maths and topological science, but in the world of magic I haven't quite seen anyone use it in this way before. The effect is that you give a couple a picture each, both of an hourglass. One is pink and one is blue. They tear them in half and they both sign one of the halves. You then show that they have actually torn them perfectly so that they match and go together, and now the hourglass makes a heart shape. You can then put that in a frame, stick it down and give it to them to keep as a beautiful memory. It is a really, really novel, quirky effect, full of sentimentality and poignancy and so on. This is not one to be doing on big Brian down spoons. So these are the pictures. As you can see, they're kind of pastel-y, and it's an hourglass, and you can tell when you tear them in half, it becomes a heart when you put them together. They're actually printed on some quite nice, sturdy paper. It's sort of the sort of paper that you would do a pastel drawing on, which is great. It's easy to tear, and the tearing is probably the biggest part of this trick. The trick does, you also get the frame, and this is the frame that you stick the pictures in once they've been put together. So the two pieces don't actually restore together, you just show that they match perfectly, and then you put them in the frame. So you really do have to draw on the idea that no one person can tear a piece of paper exactly the same, no matter how hard they try, yet alone two people separately tearing a piece of paper. The chances of those edges ever matching is infinitely impossible, and yet they do with this. And you've got to draw very much on the sentimentality of it all. So the hourglass sort of represents time and memory, and then obviously it becomes a heart, and it's, you know, you've really got to get into all of that and really emphasize the sentiment of the picture and of a couple spending the rest of their life together. So it's very much one for happy memories, for long-lasting relationships, for love. It is great for, I mean, if you're doing it at a wedding, obviously you've nailed it. Method-wise, other than the tearing, which actually does take up most of the tutorial, just to make sure that you get it roughly down the middle, because you want the heart to appear. Other than that, there's just one very, very simple card move, and this is probably one of the best uses for that move I've ever come across. That combined with Billy Yeung's clever idea creates a real genius of a trick. And I think there are going to be different variations of this coming out. My mind is racing with ideas that possibly aren't quite as sentimental as this. It is easy to do. It is really, really powerful and a terrific moment for a couple if you do want to create a beautiful memory for them. For the right people at the right time, it's the perfect trick. That is Memory by Balala, Zheng and Billy Yeung. And now it's time for the gold medal favourite. It is Sleuth Ball Mini by Iarvel Magic. This is so much better than I thought it ever could be. I've never really been the biggest fan of the Sleuth Ball plot or the Kurosote or that Max Maven popularized. The basic routine is that you've got a selection of white balls and one black ball. You have your participants each choose a ball, and you are able to divine which person has got the black ball or the odd ball. It's never really appealed to me. There are various different ways of presenting it. You can tell that you're sort of looking at in people's eyes. You can do it by personality or micro ticks or however you like. I've never really found a presentation that has sort of drawn me in to the idea. Max Maven teaches a great little routine on his Video Mind series. It's a very simple routine that doesn't require any gadgets or electronics or anything like that. This is an electronic version that does all of the hard work for you, and it comes in this really beautiful box. Got limited edition written on the bottom, and inside here you get absolutely everything you need. You get the little secret thing, you get some spare bits, you get the balls, and of course you get the box, and you also get a screwdriver as well in here, so you are good to go. You don't really need to use the screwdriver that much. Screwdriver is just required for the charging of it, but the charge, unless you're using it constantly, will stay charged for a fair while, for months I think, in fact the tutorial said. Now these balls are really nice. They all do. You also get a little pin as well. So these balls are really nice. They're a really good size to carry around, have people hold, have people put in the pocket. They're not too bulky. And that's really what's nice, but the size of it is great. You could carry this down. You could take this down the pub with you and play this game. You do need to take the box, but the box is the clever bit. The balls are beautiful. The balls are lovely. You get 5 white and 1 black ball. And I think I've convinced myself that it's quite a fun routine. Being able to do this in a relaxed environment rather than on stage with the big snooker-sized balls and so on has really sort of made me feel that perhaps it's a better, more fun thing to do than on stage, where I always sort of think entertaining a mass of people with it is difficult. But if you're only doing it for a group of people and they're all holding one of the balls, they are instantly hooked, and you've got a great little bit of fun as you go around the table reading people. And of course, because of the way it works, you know exactly who's got the black ball, so it's all just good fun. You're just playing along, making the presentation as entertaining as possible and joking around, or of course being the serious mentalist and really playing it for a mind reading routine if you wish. But what I really like about this is how versatile it is. So it doesn't have to be the black ball. And in the tutorial, they use one of their magnetic die instead of the black ball and any other objects. You don't have to use those white balls. You can put anything you like in there. So Iarvel have also brought out these magnetic die This one's yellow, obviously. They come in various colours, and they're perfect. I mean, that it's just like a normal die. So you can use that instead of the black ball, and then you've got any other objects that you like. In the video, he uses a coin, a bottle top, anything. But it doesn't have to be an Iarvel product or anything that is magnetic, or anything that you've shimmed with a magnet in any way will work in here. So you can do it with a selection of sweets if you like. The fact you could do it with any everyday objects, it's just made it a complete and utter winner for me. You can just use your imagination and have so much fun with so many different presentations. The box doesn't quite have that TCC weighty solid feel to it. It's not quite up to their standards. There's a bit of play in the lid here from the hinge, but that's absolutely fine. That is not going to cause any problems, and it works a treat. It is a bit of a faff to turn on for the first time, and it's a bit of a faff to get to the charging port, but that's because it's all so really well hidden. And like I say, the charge will last for months. The receiver actually tells you when it needs charging as well. I would never have thought that just by shrinking a trick down, it has increased its appeal so much. That plus just how versatile it can be. I'm not a fan of using electronics in my magic at all, but you know what? This has got me really tempted. That is Sleuth Ball Mini by Iarvel Magic. £154, 99p. And last up, it is Hearken Dice by TCC, part of their Classico range. Hearken Dice, I keep on trying to say Hagen Dice. This is a new take on the Vision die box, which I love. Won't say anything about it. The 4K Vision box by Brent Braun, I think, is one of the best close-up, easy to carry around, fun, simple tricks to do. TCC have tried to up the game here by making it 2 dice instead of 1. The principle is the same. You give your participant the dice and you turn around with your back with the box. They put the die in the box, showing whichever numbers they wish, a completely free choice, and they put the lid on. You then turn around and you are able to tell them the numbers that are showing on the dice. What is great about this, I would say, is that you can now do it with 2 people. So 2 people can do it at the same time, which is good. It's a much bigger box, much harder to carry around. It's a really well made box, and the lid is designed to make the move easy to do with just one hand. Functionality, can't really fault it. And these dice, I mean, they are so tactile. They are lovely. They're just sort of perfect. I don't know what that feeling is when you just sort of go like, oh, I don't know quite what there must be this. I bet there's a Japanese name for it. But they are lovely, big wooden die, and it's a really solid. It's heavy. The problem is, I'm not sure adding another die really makes any difference, and the tutorial is super short. It's about 5 minutes long. I'm not sure. I got the impression the guy was in a hurry. Maybe he needed the loo or something. He ran through everything very quickly. It is in English. It is clear. It is very simple. I didn't particularly like the way he took the lid off to show the die. Didn't really like his methodology for that. I think there are better ways of doing it, and you can do it in the classic way by holding it at the sides as you would do with a single box, but he doesn't show it like that. And he mentions the idea that you can use the die as a combination of numbers, so you can do it for any card at any number, and that's a sort of vague idea of mixing it in with a card trick. It's not talked, briefly sort of spoken about, very, very strange from TCC to have this sort of short tutorial that adds very, very little apart from just showing the mere functionality of the box. Everything can be examined, as with most versions of this trick. It weighs a ton. It's a real brick, so you're going to be keeping it at home. I really want to like it more than I do. Maybe having two people do it at the same time, maybe that makes it worthwhile. I'm not convinced. That is Hearken Dice by TCC Magic, $55.99. And that's it for this week's show. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please do subscribe if you don't, because although I've got over the 1,000 subscriber mark that I was so keen on, I do still check on a daily basis. I'm off to go and practice my grappling moves. But in the meantime, please, come on, people, grab some magic, go out there and have some fun with the best hobby in the world. Bye-bye.